Okay, good evening, everybody. Good afternoon, good morning from wherever you are in the world. Thank you for joining us again on this meeting. It's been great. It's really been great. I'm very happy and very enjoying every time that we meet together, at least on this Zoom, and have a nice talk on volleyball stuff and refereeing stuff and professional stuff. This is really been a great time for all of us during these difficult times. So if we're not meeting on the courts, we still meet here on the Zoom, and it's really very nice to see you all again. Thank you for joining us on this another meeting of What Would You Decide, where we're going to have Laszlo Herpai and Juraj Mokry to talk about some situations and some topics that were raised by all of you that we received during the last weeks. And we try to analyze it. It's going to be an interactive meeting. I will not keep you all waiting, and I will give the floor to Laszlo and Juraj. Please, it's all yours.
Thank you very much, Roy. Hello for everybody. It's my pleasure to be here again with you. I think this area is launched by and managed by Roy is enough famous. And for me, it's a big honor of the refereeing or how to manage the match or how to handle the stress situation. However, it's also crucial to discuss not only about the manner how to apply, but what to apply to. That's why it was a good idea to make today's session by Roy. I am very happy to greet again beside me Juraj, one of the top referees, and he brings the practice into the session, and we will talk about it in November. If I remember well, the last session with the rule topics was in the last November with Juraj and me, and it was a good sign that there were some feedbacks from the referees. Of course, among them, there were some disagreements as well. I think it's worth to return to them and clarify the explanation commonly with Juraj. What will happen today? We have 8 cases. Each of them has 1 or 2 videos. We follow the same system as in November we did. Some cases were coming from you. Thank you for this. This is also a good sign for your activity, because you were asked before the session and to send us some cases as you did in November. We watch each video once, or if it's needed, twice. I will give some comments, what is important, where to focus the concentration. Then it's your turn to express thoughts, opinion, maybe questions, maybe opposite ideas to the previous one. Don't be surprised if I call 1 or 2 persons from you and to ask him or her to express him or herself. So don't be surprised. As you see, a PowerPoint presentation is prepared. We will follow, and if Roy wants to publish this PowerPoint, I'm not against. It will be very useful for you. As I say always, one important thing is to say needed. The goal of the case analysis is not to blame the referees appearing in the videos. Of course, if they decide well, we can appreciate them. But in case of a mistake, please don't blame them. Everybody can be on the screen, and nobody is happy if he's blamed in front of the expert people like you. This is for the start. Juraj, if you want to add something, some general.
Just thank you. Thank you for inviting me, and it's a privilege. So I will try to add some comments if necessary, but I'm sure not too many. Maybe.
Let's see.
Yes.
Okay, so let us begin with the adult topic from the last occasion. If I can with the case 1. And to start the video. The match was played in our last Club World Championships in 2018. And here start the action. The back row setter, number 9, set the ball. And we will see that the opponent blocker touched the ball. There were several options, several alternatives we analyzed. What was disagreed by one of you? The number 9 was back row player, and his ball hit was over the net, so higher than the top of the net. Then the blocker hits the ball earlier than the attacker. The question was, who made a fault? The setter, the blocker, or maybe it was a two simultaneous faults. If you allow me, I will give you immediately the explanation, and if Juraj agrees with me, he can confirm my idea. The question is, the setter made a fault or not? He was back row player. He hit the ball over the net, and his set was towards the opponent. It means that he made an attack hit. Yes? Yes.
Yes.
If the blocker hit the ball earlier than the attacker, it means that this attack by the setter became completed. I hope you agree with me. So it was a completed back row player's attack. It means it was a fault. The question is if the blocker did a fault or not. By our explanation was that he made a fault. Why? Because a teammate of the setter was close to the net, was close to the ball. He was about to play the ball, but the blocker hit the ball in the opponent's space before the attack hit. And he interfered the play of the opponent. It means that the blocker made also a fault. So it means simultaneous fault by two opponents was done. In this case, our explanation was replay. Why to replay? Because in the rule there is no word about it which fault should be considered as first one. We have a situation in when two simultaneous faults is done, when the moment of the service, the player of the service made a fault, for example, stepped on the service line. In this time, the receiving team made a position of fault. In this case, it's written clearly in the rule that the service fault should be considered as a first one. But here, in such situation, there is no word about it. In this case, two simultaneous contacts were done. So in this case, the rally should be replayed. Juraj, do you want to add something?
Yeah, I just need to add that it is very, very important to check correctly, to be in the middle position as a first referee, to be sure if the contact by blocker was really in opponent space or it was already in his space. So in that case, there is only mistake of the back row setter because the attack was completed regularly. And
this is another alternative. So this option was disagreed by one German colleague, that the back row setter hits the ball over the net and the blocker hits the ball earlier than the attacker in the opponent space. So in this case, by our approach, this is two simultaneous faults.
yes,
And that's why it's a replay. I don't know if the colleague from Germany who disagreed with this explanation is here or not. Maybe he had no courage to take part. Okay, never mind. So I hope you agree with our approach and explanation.
If I may?
Yes, of course.
Yes, we discussed this earlier.
Ah, sorry, you are young.
Yeah, I just had to unmute,
Okay.
and I was not as quick. Yeah, I understand fully what you say. It's according to the rule books. Rule book, everything's perfectly right. But one thing, it is by the blocker. Not only as he commits the fault blocking this ball before the attacker has can reach the ball, that's his fault, yes. But it's kind of he does in one action because he takes away from the attacker the ability to make the fault of the setter not happen. You know, if I am the setter, and we have a very net closed situation here, but it's thinkable that the setter is far away from the net, but within the attacking zone, and he sees his teammate. He plays the ball higher than the top of the net in direction to his teammate. Of course, it's an attack hit because it flies towards the opponent, but he sees his teammate and he knows, oh, that man could complete the attack as well, is no problem. Why should he care if there's a blocker or not? That was the thing we discussed earlier, and yeah, we wrote with Juraj. I think Juraj, you said would be nice to have a clarification in the rule book or in some a case book also. But I think it's not perfectly fair to rule like this.
If I can, Laszlo,
Yes,
before you, this is really what you said already, Laszlo, that in case of the, let's say, double fault with service made, or the fault made during the execution and service, and the positional fault, the positional fault of the opponent, here it's clearly in the rules. So we have something what we can base the ruling on, but in this case it's not. So as Laszlo said, as soon as these two mistakes are here at the same time, even we prevent another situation which would not lead to this mistake, we have to follow that. Of course, in case there is something in the rules that in this situation, this should be considered as the first one, then we can follow that. But we cannot give an explanation opposite to what is current ruling in the rules of the game.
Absolutely.
So we have to wait and hope they fix it in the rule book.
Maybe casebook, maybe rule book.
But casebook, yeah. Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Roy, let's go to the next, because this is a summary of the situation, so make it explanation. Okay, blocking. We have two videos. Let's go to the first one. This is the Hungarian one, yes. There is a bad, here please. The white player in the middle, the number 10, is a back row player, back row setter. And although the ball was badly received by his teammate, he put his arm in the air. Okay. And the ball rebounding from the opponent block hit the setter. A little bit further. In this moment, the setter the ball hit the setter, and then there was an attack. It doesn't matter. My question is, if this action by the player number 10 is a block or not. If it's considered a block, it's a faulty back row block. So in this case, it's a fault. Andrei, may I ask you, Kovalchuk, what is your opinion?
Good evening. if blocker touch the ball first, it was fault by a setter.
So the situation was that the ball from the bad reception went into the opponent space. The opponent player blocked the ball to the hand of the setter.
But I cannot see clear who is first touch the ball.
The blocker, the opponent blocker.
Opponent blocker first.
Yes.
Okay.
In the opponent space, the ball was in the space of the red team.
Sorry.
I didn't understand. Slobodan Kovacevic, Slobodan, are you here?
Yes, I'm here. Good evening, everyone. So, in my opinion, it's clear that this is the illegal block from a back row player setup.
But the back row player didn't want his arm in the air.
Yes, of course, but he is close to the net and he's over the...
Who has different opinions?
Yes, fault of the setter.
Of the back row setter, yes, because it was a block.
Yeah.
Anybody else has a different
I disagree.
opinion?
If I may, I disagree with this.
Okay, let us argue. Fine.
Let us argue.
Stop here, Roy.
značilnosti, lokalne značilnosti,
Close the arm.
v Bruslju in Berlinu.
May I speak?
Of course.
I think that it was unintentionally, of course, but it was a block. What is block? Block is if you touch the ball coming from the opponent and one part of your close to the net, one part it is close to the net. So in this case, it was a back row player and he touched unintentionally, of course, but this is a block.
A block is an action of the team to prevent the ball from crossing in your spans.
Yes, intentionally or unintentionally. Doesn't matter. I think, my opinion.
Alex, when the arm of the setter is higher than the top of the net and it's on in the way of the ball coming to his own space, it's a kind of interception. Yes.
Kind of.
It's an interception. If the setter didn't want to block, he put immediately his arm when he realized that the ball went to the opponent's space. Am I right?
If he is good enough to do it.
So he did, because and after this situation there was a big discussion between the number 10 and the first referee, and the number 10 was the national setter of the Hungarian team, and it was absolutely clear that the number 10 didn't know the rules. After this situation, I hope he learned the rules, and later on in the future he will never do it. Now he understands the rules, so in this case it was absolutely conditions of the block were absolutely fulfilled. The ball was coming from the opponent, the player intercept the ball, the player's part was over the top of the net, what else we need for a block? That's all. And because he was a back row player, it was a block. There is no word in the rules that intentional or unintentional. What is the position of the player during the block? So it should be a block. I hope the active referees agree with us. Okay, can we go further to the second video on this in this topic? Yes. The situation is that the number 19 is the spiker. He spiked the ball, and from the block, the rebounded ball hit the player's, the number 19's arm. The question is, the second hit of the 19 is a block or not? Maybe after the previous discussion, it's easier than without it. Danica, can you help?
Yes. Hi, everybody. Due to the previous description, I guess it was a block. Because the ball are coming from the opponent's space somehow. Even it's not very clear because I cannot see if the ball was touching the opponent's space over the net.
No, it was a normal back by the 19. It was a normal block by the red player, and the ball rebounded to the hand of the 19. Sad and funny situation, but it happened. So you vote for block?
Yes, I said it was a block.
Who is against it? Nobody. Okay, so we agree that this was a block. So we can go back to the PowerPoint because there is some summary. So the blocking action is in the first 3 rows, and there is no matter, as I told you, what is the player's position, what is the player's intention, and which part of the player's body is hit by the ball, hand, head, elbow, or extremely the foot. If the player's part is over the net, a touch of foot is still considered as a block action, because in the definition of the block in the rulebook it's written that regardless of the height of the hit. Okay, let's go further. Roy. So, still remain at the block. And let me remind you that nothing in the rule, which part of the body is hit by the ball during the blocking action. Let us see, this is a back row player, does something close to the net. His part of the body is over the net in the moment of the hit. The ball rebounds to the net, and he kicks the ball. And the first referee caused a double fault. My question is, the first hit can be considered as a block, and the second hit, how can be considered? What is your opinion? Fabian, are you here? Consia.
Yes, Laszlo, I'm here. I'm trying to find in a small view with my mobile.
Oh, so you cannot realize. Okay.
It's okay, but for me, because the image in the video is stopped in every frame.
Okay.
For me, the red one, the red is blocked because I think part of the arm is over the top of the net. And in the other case, for me, must be blocked. I don't see completely the action of the blue player with the right arm. I don't know.
Okay. Stefan, can you complete? Hang.
Yeah.
Do you see completely the video?
Yeah. Okay. I watched completely. For me, it was a back row player block because the player was higher than the top level of the net. It's not important which part of the body is touching the ball, and because he was the back row player, it's the fault of the blockers. That's all.
So my question is that was it a good, correct decision by the first referee calling a double fault? Because the first referee called a double fault.
Absolutely not.
Sorry, double hit.
Absolutely not.
Anybody has a different opinion?
I'm not sure, but okay. The player is not so close to the net, so in these cases you can say it's not a block. Okay, I'm not sure. I can't see very clear, of course, but the number one, the red number one, is not so close to the net. Okay, arms are higher from the net, of course, but not so close. The distance is more than, we say, about 20, 30 centimeters, I think. I'm not sure. So you can call it a double hit, in my opinion.
Joop, do you have any idea?
It is the first touch of the team after the block, so it's kind of difficult to call to a double hit.
I would like to say that in whatever did the setter do, he made a mistake. If he was trying to block and it was a block, so it's a back row block and it's a fault. And if he was not blocking, the interpretation of the first referee is important, meaning if the first referee decided that it's not a block, it's a two contacts, which is a fault. If he decided it's a block, so it's a back row setter blocking, which is a fault. So in either way, it's going to be a fault. My opinion.
Any other opinion?
May I?
Of course.
Okay. So we are discussing this video already 5 minutes. Despite we could see it maybe 25 times, we still have some part which says it's a first hit, not a block. Other half says it is this to be clever. And in my opinion, this decision was clever one. It means it's obviously there was a mistake. And sometimes we must be clever in preventing some discussion or disagreements with our, I would not say opponents, I mean teams, yeah, or coaches or captains, because this case, the double was much easier to be explained and finished. Discussion stopped. As soon as we start with explanation was over the net, not over the net, immediately the setter will come, but I was below the net, yeah? Then you will say, okay, but then you had double. So why you don't call double immediately? Okay, so that's why it was maybe not completely correct based on the video analysis, but for sure, I consider this decision as a clever one to make the life of referee easier. And we should make it as easy as possible from this point of view. That's my opinion.
I am very happy to hear this opinion from a more or less young person, because this idea was coming from the prehistoric time. I learned this from the old foxes. So don't make your life complicated. So make your decisions easy to explain. And in this moment, as Juraj told us, it was a very clever decision. Okay, it was absolutely accepted by the 40 player, by the team, by everybody. Okay, and the first referee prevented any discussion about the height of the blocker or setter's arm and so on. So it was a clever and good decision. How can I say? The basic principle is that the first hit by the setter was a block, because any part of his body was over the net. It doesn't matter which part of the body was hit by the ball. And if it was considered as a block, and it was not considered, not called as a back row block, the second hit was a double hit. So in this case, it was a good decision. Okay, let's go further. We go to the video. This video was sent by a colleague, yes. We have to focus to the libero replacements, which are noted with numbers. Let's go up until the end. And we can analyze what happened and how to handle the situation. I don't know if everybody could realize the first libero replacement was let's go again. The first one is between the libero on court and the starting player, okay. Then they realized that the second libero should enter the court. This is the second libero replacement. Immediately, the first referee gave the signal for the service. And coming the third libero replacement. The rally played, and the ball and the rally was won by the white team. What is your opinion? Which replacement could be legal, which could be illegal, which could be so-called late libero replacement? And finally, how to handle this situation, which are also enough complex and complicated. Can you realize the situation? Then Helena, may I ask you to give some opinion?
Well, there was some misunderstanding within the team that caused this problem. But I think the first referee should explain to the captain how the libero replacement should be done.
Okay, but how to handle? When to whistle, why to whistle, so which replacement was or were legal, which are not?
The first one is of course legal. I mean, he's going out, that's okay. But in the same game interruption, he cannot go back in the second libero. This is not possible because there's no completed rally.
So, by your opinion, the replacement number 2 was already illegal?
Yes, I mean the video is not cut, right? It's the same game interruption, right?
And what about the number 3?
That was late. I'm not quite sure about the moment of the service. Yeah, but it was already wrong. So.
Okay, if we consider the number 2 is still legal somehow, okay, the number 3 should be what?
Number 3 is due to the fact that there was misunderstanding who is about to serve. So then, okay, the referee can be smart and understand why they do this. But yeah, for me, the problem is starting with the second replacement.
Absolutely. So I suppose we can agree that the number one was legal. Okay, so it was no problem. There is one case in the case book that's in the explanation, so-called absent-minded libero replacement. It means that between the same players, same starting player and the libero, they do two replacements because they forgot their position and so on. So they made a replacement, and immediately, without any delay, they replacement. They make a replacement. Do you understand me? But the crucial point is these two replacements are made between two same players. But the number two, if we can go back, replacement number two cannot be absent-minded because there is a third player who made the libero replacement. So it should be a second replacement in the same game interruptions, which should be faulty. Agree? And after that, the first referee or the second referee already had to whistle and call illegal libero replacement and give the respective delay sanction, either warning or penalty. And in this case, there is no chance to make the third libero replacement. Okay. Do you agree or do you disagree? Because you...
I agree. I agree with you.
Okay.
Agree.
Anyhow, if we consider the libero replacement number two is still legal, the number three should be so-called late libero replacement, which should be handled a different way than the illegal libero replacement. Am I enough complicated, or you can understand, you can follow my thinking way? And the late libero replacement, it means that it's made after the whistle for the next service, but before the service hit. For the first time, to do nothing, only after the rally, to call the game captain and explain him or her that it was not according to the rules. Please don't do it because next time you get a delay sanction. And any repeating late libero replacement should be sanctioned by delay. So the illegal libero replacement and the late libero replacement should be handled on different way. I hope it's not so new for you, but repeating, it's strengthen of confirming the knowledge.
I have a question, if it's possible. Yes. I see you, but I want to ask a question before, just to make it a little bit more interesting. When does illegal replacement occur? When there's the replacement or when the rally starts? Meaning, here there was a lot of confusion. The rally didn't start yet, meaning until the first referee whistled for start of the rally, they went in and out a couple of times. Is this illegal to this because of the confusion? I would, as myself, if I would be first referee, I would consider everything legal besides number three, which is, like you said, a late replacement, and I would give there a warning for delaying the match and everything. But all the others, before I whistle for service, so they were confused, and it's not something that I would consider as illegal, as long as it's correct while at the moment that I whistle. The same as like positioning of the players on the court when they are in position or not. Before I whistle, they can be wherever they want on court. But once I whistle, they have to be in their positions.
When the position of fault is committed, in the moment of the next service, yes?
Yeah.
When the illegal libero replacement is committed, when it's done, when the teams made this illegal libero replacement. Let's take an example. Libero is on the court and he is replaced by number 1.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, in this moment, the libero is out. And the clever coach, so-called clever coach, sent back the libero to replace the number 5. Do you think that you should wait to the next service to call the illegal libero replacement? No. When the libero returned to the court, in this moment, you have to whistle, you have to stop the game, mm-hmm. and immediately inform, of course, the first referee, delay sanction, and record into the score sheet. So don't wait to the next service. Why to wait?
Okay, so at the moment that the libero passes the line and there is a replacement, this is the moment of the illegal action.
Absolutely.
Okay, understood.
If I can contribute to this discussion, it's essential also the work of the scorer in this point, because normally the scorer would react immediately because he knows that the player should go in front zone. And we have also a case book, I don't remember exactly the number, somewhere 5 something, maybe 10 or 11, where it's clearly written that in case the player or the libero should proceed to position 4, the referee cannot allow a service. They must solve the problem and issue delay sanction. So in this case, we should be also careful with this and use support of scorer if there is a good scorer, or if we have electronic tablet, we can see immediately that there is no place for libero at that moment. And secondly, when we have this kind of the situation, this video is very complex. And if possible, I would divide it to 2 parts, the first 2 replacement and the third one. And it was excellent how Laszlo explained the difference between late and illegal. The first 2, it's an example of illegal. So we have to solve the problem immediately as illegal substitution, same way. If we forget to do that and the referee starts the rally, he must interrupt, and the situation is like late discovery of illegal substitution. But if we see it immediately to solve the problem. If we forget first 2, and we focus only on the third one, then it's clear legal replacement, but late, and then we follow the rules that we will allow the rally to continue, and at the end we call the captain and instruct that it is too late, etc. In next time we will interrupt the rally, etc. So very nice, complex example, good to remember late and illegal, and if illegal, don't allow rally. It's better in this situation. If I'm first referee in this situation and I see this triple replacement, I would immediately contact second referee with my eyes. I would not allow the service because I want to be sure that we can start. And maybe in the meantime, they will realize, that there is a problem. And then we can solve the problem with delay warning and we continue with the situation. So this is just my recommendation.
Thank you, Juraj. Perfect. Okay, question about this situation? Please don't ask me how to decide at the end of this video, because I have no idea how to solve the problem. Because the rally was already played. The first 2 libero replacements, which has at least one faulty libero replacement, they missed. After that, they can do nothing. So the result of the rally should remain as it was, in my opinion. But it was not a good, how can I say, advertising of the refereeing. I don't know in which country was played. Please don't repeat, if possible. Okay. If there is no other point, let's go further. Okay, this video's topic is body protection. Played in the top Brazilian man league, and a very interesting application approach by the referees concerning to the net touch will appear, will be seen. Did you realize the situation? This one. The red jersey player put his elbow and through the net, he hit the ball. And of course, the white teams complained. It was a very unpleasant situation, unpleasant behavior, and he received a red card. Okay. I don't know what was the topic of discussion between the two referees. Okay. Temperament. And the rally, the next service belongs to the red team. What is your opinion? Mihail, do you have any opinion? Did you realize the situation? Let us focus on to the net touch and not to the red card. Okay. Did you realize?
Yes, of course. This is a difficult situation, you can say. Why? Okay. The Brazilian was clever. He didn't go very close to the net, but he saw the ball coming, so he put the arm so that the ball hit the net, and then then his arm, so he rebounded, go down. Okay. Because I had a situation like this in my career, and we have a lot of discussion. I don't know. From the rules, it's okay because the net hit the ball, the net, then the net, the head. So it's okay by the rule. But okay, I'm not sure what I'm going to do in this situation, to say the truth.
Do you have any idea? Recently, you didn't get a chance to express yourself. You.
I think it's at the moment the player was moving towards the net, and then it's a fault from the player. If the player is standing still and the ball hits him, then it's not fault.
According of the rules, it's a fault of the team that made the play with the ball that touched the end. It's not allowed to do it according to the rules. And then it's mistake by the referee that gives, of course, the red card and so on.
Where is the next service by you?
Sorry?
Where is the next service, in your opinion? At the white?
The same thing that the referee did in the last time. He decided, okay, in the end, but no, it was a wrong decision by the referee. The ball should go to the white shirts in his left side of the first referee. And in my opinion, it's not should be a red card. Of course, because of the behavior and so on, the player of the left side should get, in my opinion, yellow.
Mm-hmm. Any other opinion or to add something?
I would say that this is an intentional touch of the net by the red team or the dark team on the left, and ball should be to the white team. I wouldn't sanction with anything because it's not to try to influence the decision of the referees. The rule states that if he comes and he does an action that deliberately touching the ball over between the net, meaning that it's not something not deliberate, meaning passive standing. If he was standing there already without moving and the net would hit him, maybe it could be argued. But by moving towards the net in order to have the ball touch him by the net, this is a deliberate move, meaning a deliberate touch of the net, and I would give the ball to the white team, and that's it. I don't think I would even sanction.
Closing this topic, I fully agree with Roy. So don't forget, if the ball hits the player through the net, it means it's not a fault. If the ball was spiked strongly by the opponent and the player with the reflex protects his body, it's also not a fault. However, it is a fault if the player hits the ball like on the video he did, like chasing the ball contact in order to change the the path of the rebounding ball from the contact and interfering the opponent's play. So it was a clear, intentional, deliberate net touch by the red player. It was a typical example. So I would like to ask you to call such kind of situation, because if you don't do it, the players think it's legal play, and more do it, and we don't want to see such deliberate net faults. Okay, and it's also important that unintentional net hits only between the antenna can be faulty, but intentional, like here on the video, on the whole of the net should be counted between the antennas and out of the antennas as well. So it's a big difference between the two kind of net touch. Okay, question about it?
Yes, I have a question, if I may. I was just thinking of what Roy said. I would disagree maybe just on the part not to give a penalty, because I think because it was intentional to interfere with the opponents, I would give him at least a yellow card because of this action. I don't know.
My opinion is that he's going to lose the point. But his intention of touching the ball, his penalty is losing the point. So already he's receiving some kind of penalty, losing the point. I would not make it unsportsmanlike behavior to give some kind of a card about that. It's an action which is against the rules, and that's it. My opinion, again.
Okay. So it would be too strict to give him a penalty, let's say.
To which player?
To the player in the red shirt.
Yes, I agree. It would be too much giving a penalty, yes.
Okay, thank you.
If you are enough strong and you have enough self-confidence, you can give a yellow card, but in my opinion, it's not so necessary.
It's not necessary, okay.
Not a big, how can I say, big scandal from him.
To do it. Maybe just to, to, let's say, calm the opponents, the white players, to give them an additional signal, it's not allowed. Maybe. Just to, to calm them. Maybe. I don't know.
Again, if I may...
Για κλωτσιές, όχι αυτή τη φορά από συμπεριφορά τους άλλους.
Laszlo, if I may, but if the decision was correct immediately, if the first referee or the second referee, if the second referee would whistle for net touch, or the first referee would whistle for the white team, immediately there would be no aggressive reaction.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So there was no need to calm them down or anything else. I guess that his penalty, his action was deliberate to touch the ball, but not intentionally to change the decision of the referees. If a player pulls the net down, he makes a small pull of the net, to change the situation. This is deliberately to change the decision of the referees. This would be considered a yellow card. But on this case, he made an action which was not correct by the rules, and his punishment was to lose the ball and the point, and the ball went to the other side.
I have two things to add. First, it's my fault not to present the video on the match. It was made Hungary, Macedonia, because the Macedonian setter pulled down the net in the moment when the Hungarian spiker hit the ball, to mislead the opponent and the referees too, and they missed this kind of fall. So in this case, this situation could worse to give a penalty. I fully agree, but not in this situation. And the second additional remark, let me repeat Alex, because Alex Katz, because Alex several times mentioned that most of cards are coming due to the referee's bad decisions. And I fully agree with this sentence. Am I right, Alex? If I remember well, it's your sentence.
It is not mine, it belongs to my teacher, Gabi Lotan, but he says that definitely 90% of the yellow cards are because of the bad referee decisions.
But last time I heard from you, so that's why.
Yeah, but now I'm going back to my teacher, you know. So.
Yeah. Okay.
Can I ask something?
Of course.
What should I sign in this situation? Net fault? What is the correct sign?
Net fault.
Yes, net fault.
Net fault. Yes.
Net fault and show the player.
It is
Why
an interference.
use a different signal?
Sorry, I didn't hear you.
Why you are thinking to use a different hand signal? It was a net fault. Yes? Net fault has this kind of signal. That's all. Very easy. Okay. Don't complicate your life to use a different new hand signals. We have 26, it's enough.
Thank you.
Can we go further?
Just a small comment, Laszlo, if I may. It is an interference, and the net, and we're talking about the net touch, but actually the fault here is an interference. So while that's what should be explained as an interference fault, which is signed as the net touch. The official sign is a net touch, but the fault is interference and not actually touching the net.
I don't understand completely. Juraj, can you help me?
Yeah. Okay, it is an action which hinders the opponent's way how they can play. So this is among the list we have in the net faults which are considered as faulty, and there is just one signal made in the rules diagram to be used. So we use this signal for all these mistakes which are listed here, and as it is in this list, that's why we use it.
Alex, as I mentioned, we have 26 hand signals, and not every referee can use correctly these hand signals. That's why we don't want to create new hand signals, not to make the life of the referees more complicated as they have actually. Can you accept?
I accepting that. My comment was just we are talking about the net touch. It's a net. It is a signal is the net, but the fault actually, like Juraj said, is from the list of the interference.
Absolutely, absolutely. And this touch is fault between the antenna and out of the antenna too. Roy is a very kind person. This is the situation what I was talking about. Let us see what happened. The problem is that it's a fifth set, 12-13.
Unfortunately, it has no challenge. If there was a challenge, it was okay.
Yes, you're absolutely right. In the time of challenge, it's very easy to discover the situation. On this match, there was no challenge. So the setter was very tricky, and he won the rally and the match too, because instead of 13-13, the score was, after this situation, 14-12 to Macedonia. And it was a big scandal. Okay. So in this case, this player merited a penalty, because it was a really unfair action by him. I hope you agree with us.
I have two comments here, if possible. The first, it was clever by the first referee in this situation not to use any card against the Hungarian team. I think he didn't know what really happened, and that's why he decided, okay, let's go and let's continue the game without any penalty or any sanction to the Hungarian team. That was good from this point of view. And the other point I want to mention, the previous video we could see, I actually don't understand why the first referee did not use the help of the second referee. I don't think the referee helped really, but he could use this moving of the second referee there for getting time to think about what really happened and to use this opportunity to overrule himself. Yeah, even maybe the second referee didn't explain as he was expecting. So sometimes we should be clever, and in this situation, even we decide at the beginning wrong way, we can call the second referee to get some time and think and to see the complex situation on the court, and based on what's happening on the court, we can somehow modify our decision. So this is also very, very useful to get some extra time to decision, to get the final decision. Even maybe before the red card to do this, to call the second referee to discuss. And then if I'm right, then I will give the red card. Because here the red card was before calling the second referee. This is not the best way how we should be proceeded, in my opinion.
I fully agree with your opinion, especially to the first point, not to give any strong card to the Hungarian players in this situation. But the second point, I'm a little bit doubt, because in this case, there are different approaches, even today's session. Maybe the first and the second referee had the same approach, that there was no fault. In this case, why to request any help from the second referee when they had the same approach that it was not a fault?
Okay.
So generally, you're right. Sometimes to get time, who gains the time gains the life. Okay. It was not a fault. That's all. So in this case, they were not in doubt that they made a mistake. Okay. So it's my reaction to your.
So sometimes when we see this kind of reaction, it's good to be a little bit in doubt.
Okay, so can we go further? Number 6. Before starting the video, it's my impression that sometimes the referee is working with the challenge. They lose concentration on the game close to the net. Don't forget, challenge is a helping tool, but in my opinion, sometimes it makes the referees lazy. Okay, let's go to the video. And there is a action closed over the net, close to the net, in front of the first referee. The quality is not the best one. Let me make a comment. Blue blocker hit the ball. Then there is a joust over the net. And after the joust, the ball went to the blue team's side, going out.
Master Kubiak, the master of joust.
Yes, Kubiak, yes. If I make some comments, in this moment, after the joust, Kubiak still hit the ball. If somebody has good quality in the video and good Wi-Fi, can realize that now this is the joust, and after that Kubiak catch the ball, and after that the ball, after hitting him, going out. First, instead of using challenge, because it was in the Japan championship, they use challenge because on the other part of the match they use challenge. But in this moment, the first referee has the right to request a challenge without any decision and to check the challenge video who hit the ball last. And after that, based on this, can decide correctly who is the winner of the rally. Because based on this, the first referee gave the ball to the blue team, Kubiak's team. Do you realize the situation? So the first referee didn't concentrate enough. Well, what happened with the ball after the joust? And it was a big mistake, in my opinion, it was a big mistake from him.
It seems to me
Right,
that
from the practice, can you give some advice what to do in such situation as first referee?
So,
because I told what I saw on the video, but you can give advice how to avoid such kind of fault by the first referee. Sorry.
Okay, first, of course, we must focus on the ball, and normally we could see this. If we are still with the ball, we can see that the last contact was by the attacker. But sometimes it's not so easy. In this case, when we have slow motion, it's easy. But as soon as we have even a minor doubt, and it's at some crucial point in the set, I can ask for challenge. I can do this because the block touch is among the listed faults which can be challenged, so I can do that. Maybe the other team can do it as well, but why to decide a wrong way? Then the whole world is watching. If I can prevent this by simply asking for challenge, and then it's solved instead of me with the camera. So, okay, I think we have some habits. If there is a joust, the ball goes somewhere, then normally it's going for the team where the ball landed normally. Yeah? So sometimes it's like this. In this case, it was not like this. So maybe 1 from 10 actions, it's like this. And but my impression is, because he was focused, we can see the face of the referee very focused in the middle. So normally he should see that. But as you said, maybe not completely focused who touched the first last. And then he just made it as a habit, show to the last side, and that's it. So recommendation, if we have opportunity like challenge, we can use it. I'm sure the team, if there is a challenge in this match, would ask for challenge. If there is a Polish team on the other side, or Argentinian or Italian, for sure they ask for challenge.
Can I speak also? The last 2 years we have a lot of cases, not with 2 blockers like here, but when a player don't hit hard but follow a little the ball, then we have a lot of challenges because it's not very clear who touched the ball last. So I agree totally with Juraj. This is very difficult. It's better to have a challenge to see who touched the ball last. Because also the Polish, okay, he said Polish and Italian teams are very, they are looking very hard to this. When the player don't hit, of course, the ball, but he follow the ball, he make, this is difficult. Sometimes he fall after the block also touch the ball, so the same player, the hitter also take the ball out. It happens several times.
Yes, but you are there in order to decide correctly. you have to realize, and if you cannot realize who hit the ball last, request a challenge. If you have, of course.
Of course. If you have.
If you have.
But on international matches, more and more matches are played. And don't forget, if you have read the new rule modifications approved by the Congress, in the rule, in the reaching block in the opponent, the rule has been changed. So you have to pay more and more attention to this.
Changing when Mr. Herpai, now do we approach the new rules or after the 1st of January of 2022?
If I informed well, the application on FIVB level, the new rules will be applied 1st of January in 22. It depends on the national federations when they apply. In the normal national leagues, it's not so clever to start to change the rules in the meantime of the league. So the clever federations, they start either 1st of September in 2021 or 1st of September 2022. So it's up to the federation what they want. What CEV will do, I have no idea. Maybe Arturo can inform. No, Arturo has left. Okay.
Laszlo, if you allow me, I will show you another video with the challenge how to decide if there was a net touch or not. Who was the last one to touch?
Yes, of course, to divide the screens, but I don't know if the challenge system used in CEV, it can be done. I'm not a big challenge expert. In FIVB, we can show a divided screen to determine such situation. Okay. Shall we go further?
This is by Arturo from the FIVB. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it's FIVB system.
Okay.
Okay, advice. Concentrate extremely to the tough actions. Okay, let's go further. We mentioned, so it's only a repetition. Okay, funny case, just for relax. And this video is running on internet, so maybe you know it very well. So really, I mentioned it's for fun. Concentrate to the player number 11 in the opponent. Let us see in the other camera view. It's the same situation. And now the number 11 is hit by the ball. My question is, if the first referee decided well, where is the next service? Who has opinion? Andre, you have idea? Do you agree with the first referee or not?
I didn't see decision of the first referee, but I think white team black team wins the rally.
Why? The number 11, the number 11 in the black team hit the ball in the opponent's free zone.
Yes, yes. Yes, but ball crosses the ball crosses it is not mistake of black team.
Why? Roy, can you stop in the moment of the hit? From the block?
From the block, ball crosses in the play space, not outside the antenna.
From the block, the ball went to the player number 11, being in the opponent free zone. And after
Yes.
that, the ball went out. Okay.
Yes. Yes.
The 40 player.
But nobody from the white team wants to play the ball.
Okay, anybody has another opinion, a different opinion? Thomas, may I ask you? Jambor, if you are here. Okay, not
This is a fun video. This is a fun video.
Yes, it's a fun.
So the referee was correct. The white team is going to win the race because the other touched the ball on the free zone of the opponent. Finish.
The reason of this decision was that before the ball went out, the last time the number 11 from the black team hit the ball.
Yes.
In this case, it's his fault. So in this case, the next service belongs to the white team.
Of course.
Andriy, can you accept this explanation? I hope yes.
Yeah, of course.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
But what is the signal, if I may, what is the signal of the fault? In my opinion, for
block out.
If I remember the hand signal, this is the touch ball.
Yeah, but if the blocker of the white team doesn't touch the ball, it's for touch.
Yes, theoretically, yes. Yes, you're right. Okay, let's go to the last one. Okay, it's written what I told you very clearly. Okay, penetration under the net. The topic is the penetration is legal or not on the video. Let me tell you that don't forget that it's permitted to penetrate into the opponent's court and the free zone, provided only there is no interference. Let us see what can happen. We make a zoom to the situation. What happened? Yes. The position of the player's foot is correct. Theoretically is correct. If there is no interference to the opponent, it can be legal. But on the situation, it seems that the blue team's players were interfered, were disturbed by the gray player's action. The second referee decided this. It was clear for him. And after the situation, after the decision, he made a short explanation to the gray player complaining about it. And it was a clear situation. It was decision can be supported. what is your opinion? Was a how can I say? Yeah, wrong or bad decision? What is your opinion? Danica, are you here?
I think it is a good decision. If there is interference, there is interference. It doesn't matter if the foot was according to the rules, no penetration. But if there is interference, I think you must whistle interference. And in this case, from what I saw, there is interference.
My question is, if the foot is out of the court in the free zone, but there is an interference, should be called or not? If the position was the same as the player showed after the decision. Do you see? He complained that he was out of the court in the free zone. My question is, even in this case, it was a fault or not?
Not for me.
Anybody has different opinion?
In my opinion, it's not a fault. Number 15 of the blue team received the ball without any interference. Then the ball goes up and the libero should continue play, but he decided not to play. And both of those teams, 16, the white, the libero, and 15, the blue, are not interference with the touch of the crossing space by the attacker player from the white. So in my opinion, it's not interfering during the play. They should continue play.
What are different opinion than before? Juraj, you have any comment?
Okay, there are several aspects, but even the player is not directly involved in next play, but he's not ready for following action. So I would argue a little with Amnon in this case. Even this one player stay lying, it means he cannot join the other team in playing. And this fall was caused by the opponent player who was, let's say, partly in opponent's space under the net. Doesn't mean only in the court, but also outside of the court. And that means that the interpretation, in my opinion, should be it's a fault because we can play in our own space, on our own side, but not in the opponent, regardless if it is outside of the court or inside of the court. It is allowed to touch the court unless we have a foot on the center line. It is allowed the area outside of the court, but we still cannot interfere. As soon as we interfere, both of these situations should be considered as a penetration under the net. So in my opinion, that's my interpretation. And I think Michael can tell very clearly from the position of the challenge referee that it's extremely important to explain also to referees that this is a fault because there was interference, not because it was penetrating whole foot through the center line, but because there was interference, and to show the interference, maybe using a circle, etc. Yeah. So that's my view of this situation.
From this point of view, the challenge system is a so-called silly system.
Yeah.
Because the challenge video can show if this penetration was legal, was the player's foot was on the center line. It means it's a legal penetration. But the challenge referee and the two referees should add that okay, it could be legal, but it was interference. That's why it was a fault.
In this Herpai system, it's good to have this small circle. They can show exactly the contact of the player with player. So regardless where was the way how we can help. I'm not sure if it's in data volley or the other. I don't know.
And something to add, I'm a little bit doubt if in our documents, rulebook, guidelines, casebook is enough clearly described what means interference. Because more and more cases happens. For example, the ball rebounded, ball crosses the net outside the crossing space, so the player is running to replay it. And the opponent player step in front of him, prevent or not prevent to play the ball. So some referees approaches it was an interference, some referees approaches it is not interference. So we have to give some advices how to handle, how to understand the interference situations. In my opinion, it's a duty in a close future to describe this in the guidelines. It's my feeling. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, it was prepared for today. If you have any question about these topics or other topics, and if we can reply, we can answer, we are ready for it. It was again 90 minutes, so it was again long and tough.
Yeah, thank you very much. First of all, I have some videos that I added just now. If we go to interference, something that I'm going to share talking about interference.
There was physical contact.
Yes.
Player's foot position was correct, but there was interference, so should be faulty.
Yeah, so both situations, you can see the physical contact. Once he's with the foot and once also that his body contacts him and pushes him on the other side. This one was on the first.
Of course, we have to underline that not every physical contact means interference. Sometimes there are unintentional and without any interference, so it should not be called. But such kind of physical contact should be faulty, should be called.
You can see here that he contacts him. So that was a nice one for the interference. And another video that I wanted to discuss, something different a little bit. If we go just forward, more about ball on the net playing on a maybe your opinion on this. The ball was given to the blocking team. Juraj?
This is the problem of challenge, that we still don't have penetration or reaching beyond the net in the list of mistakes which are observable. And I can see many times that even the challenge referees are cutting the image just to the net in order to prevent discussions about this. okay, the block touched the ball. I'm not sure what was first, but generally it looks like it was in the opponent, that the block first touched the ball before the setter could set the ball in own space. So it looks like a mistake of the block. But okay.
Like penetrating block.
Yeah, but it's easy with a challenge. It's much more difficult when you are there. And it's quite dangerous. I'm not sure if in Poland they can decide based on this. And I'm surprised they haven't accepted this and how they explain. And the coach is relatively calm, so probably was a good decision. I don't know.
Okay.
But this is something to be, in my opinion, better put into guidelines, especially these situations over the net. If even the challenge referee should show the picture and decide these mistakes. I know that in some countries they do, but we have some challenge referees among those sitting here, so maybe they can express their opinion about this.
Well, something interesting that I added. Anyway, thank you very much. If you have any questions for the topics and for the videos that we had just now, any comments that you would like to add, just unmute yourself, and stage is open for everybody to talk. Everybody's still away. Well, so I guess if no questions, we can go on with the quiz and to have the test, the online test that we wanted to do.
No.
Yeah, please.
No, it's just a clap.
Yeah, it's just
just a clap. Thank you.
The thumbs up. Anyway, Laszlo and Juraj, thank you for a very, very, very interesting session. Very informative, very enlightening, talking about those very specific situations that everybody can see, not just in the high level volleyball, but also in national levels and everything. Everybody can use and learn it for their own situations. Do you have any things you would like to add for finishing this meeting? Juraj, Laszlo, please.
Thank you for the attention, and I hope it was not the last time that we meet and talk about such things. Don't stop to send to Roy or to Juraj or to me cases because they are very useful and we can discuss about them. So take care for you in the time of COVID. Please concentrate in the final phase of the National Leagues Cups. So and I hope I can meet some of you within short time. Thank you very much.
Thank you also, and it's every time good possibility to learn also for me, watching these videos and analyzing with Laszlo. He knows why I'm telling this.
Thank you.
So anyway, if you would like to have a copy of the meeting, I don't know if you can see, maybe it's a mirror, you have my email, or just send me a message and I will send you the copy. Thank you very much, everybody, for being with us. It was really pleasant. And as we said, keep sending us those special topics, the videos and everything, questions, and we can try to find the videos for them. So we'll have another session like this more and more, and we can continue to learn and to enjoy this rules and everything. Have a good night. Have a safe thing. God bless you.
Thanks a lot for organizing.